The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Aren't we? Like,
I got the opportunity to spend the night in one of the jacuzzi tub rooms at the Eastside Cannery. Now, normally we don't think of Cannery as like upscale hotel rooms, but this jacuzzi room was fucking amazing. That tub, my big ass got all the way under. I had water up to my neck. I was all the way in the water. All the way in the water, and the shower stall was huge.
Yeah.
Did it have the multi-level showers where
No,
it
it just had
showered
the
you
one-
from here and showered you
No,
up?
it just had the one like rain shower head
Yeah.
thing, but it was still like amazing.
The one time I went camping, our cabin had a jacuzzi tub, but it had one of those showers where they shoot at you from all different directions.
Did it freak you out?
Yes, and I don't know. You know, where am I rinsing? I don't know what's what. It was crazy.
What am I washing next?
It was like that episode of Friends when Ross tries to get a tan,
Oh,
and
God.
it keeps shooting out the other hole. And you're like, it's too much for me. So
Yeah, so I loved this tub so hard. I spent a solid hour just fucking soaking in the tub. And taking photos of myself in the tub and sending it to these two, be like, look at this! I know what these handles are for now!
Oh yeah! But your legs were like propped on that one, and you're like,
Hell yeah, it was good.
I know. We really should have gone by there and done a photo shoot.
Yeah, I think we should rent. I'm going to probably get that hotel room on off weekends, maybe once or twice more. I loved it so much, and I just want to like go again.
Does it give you inspiration to redo your own home so you can just do it at home?
If I ever have the opportunity to redo the bathroom, I will probably do away. I have 3 bathrooms. I have a powder room downstairs, so I can't do anything with that, but maybe put a new sink in. And then I have the bathroom upstairs that I share with my son, because I don't stay in the master suite, because I get my roommate to pay more rent by letting them use the master suite. So I would leave a tub in there, but if I ever got the opportunity to redo the master suite, there's already a pretty decent sized shower stall in there, but the tub is still like a 1980s jacuzzi tub, so it's shallow but wide. But I would change it, and I would get one of the big ones, like what was in that one. But I don't know if you can put that in a regular house. There was a lot of water in that
It's
tub.
huge. So here's what we need to do. We need more people to join our Patreon group, so we can hire a photographer to come in, get the room, and then I'll do a photo shoot there.
I did not bring bubble bath because I thought it was an actual jacuzzi tub. It's not a jacuzzi tub, it's just a really deep tub. There would have been bubbles, and there would have been bubble bath pictures, because then I could have been artsy with it and not show nipple or lipple.
Lipple?
Lipple. My tulip would have been covered. I would go back with bubble bath and do a bubble bath photo shoot in that fucking tub.
So, seriously, can we sell the pictures that you sent us? Because they're hot.
Yeah, and can we keep the money? Can you not profit from them in any way, shape, or form? Can we sell them? Come to me first.
I've got the PayPal account, baby.
We'll work it. Okay, we're working it together and we'll split it.
Yeah, I suppose, as long as you guys buy me a fucking burger or something. A cushion for my
We
fucking
got the
spin
photos.
class.
Those are some great pictures. I love it when one of us goes out and does stuff, because that's what we get. When Toxi's out, we usually get texts and restroom pics, restroom selfies.
You do, but you have gotten naked selfies before. I'm
Yes.
like, look, I'm laying in bed. Boom.
There's a video I took for you guys, but it wouldn't let me send you the videos.
And on those nights when they are brave and the pictures will not get them kicked off of any of the social media, they'll post them in the group, because that's what they do. So $5, I mean, that's really not asking a lot. $5 a month.
Exactly.
And you can cancel after a month. Try it out for a month.
You don't like it, you cancel, but hey, if we get enough, We will get a photographer. We will go get.
Big as flat as pancakes.
We'll do the photo where you can rest your boobs on my butt.
That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's a great picture.
I just took like this.
Yeah.
On the side there.
That one and the boob one, just the boobs
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they're
Oh,
all
the
balled
boobs
up,
on
Yeah.
like roly-polies. Yeah.
I saved that one in my spank bank. I'll admit.
I like this
That
one.
one's gonna be used
My
for the
boobs are
purposes.
floating in the water.
Floaty.
They're floating in that water.
That's a redneck hot tub. We can't click on it now because it's live, but we'll have to check it out later.
Toxahol.
Yeah.
Aw. From Sher Khan.
I don't know if that's the guy who keeps saying "fuck you" to me now in my post because I blocked him. I don't know if you're the same person.
Do you want to talk about that dude? I have pushy dude and block dude. Block dude.
So block dude is a dude. Which one? Because I
The
shared
one that
quite
you
a
keep
few.
blocking. You keep blocking. He keeps making a new account.
So this gentleman first started reaching out to me on my Toxi page, and then I would end up blocking him, and he would totally change his name, like literally sometimes flip his first and last name and make a new account and reach back out. And as I go through the ads, sometimes I just click through kind of quickly, or I'll look when I get my friend, requests, I'll just click if I see their friends of friends. But I realized what he was doing, so I would end up having to block him and, go back. So then he started to reach out on dating sites and literally kept changing his name on dating sites. And just to share that I'm not crazy, I just shared with them the other day a photo from one site where he's like, hey, it's me. And I'm like, hey, listen. And I was kind of nice. And I'm like, you've reached out to me many times before. I've blocked you. Like, I'm not interested in talking to you. And, and that's it. And he's like, no, but please. I'm like, no, we're good. He's like, no, I'm coming to Vegas in June or July. And
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
like 2 weeks or something like
right.
that.
And I'm like, that's great. You tell me every single time. However, I'm not interested. So the next thing so I just share this with you, and I'm like, guys, like this dude, he just, no matter what, I block him, and, he pops up under another name and blah, blah, blah. So just yesterday, totally different site, I get a thing. And he's like, oh, I don't want to bother you, I just need the address to a club.
Bitch, there's a thing called Google. Find it your damn self.
Oh, hey, that's the next one.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
We need to block him.
Well, our page should be, you know what?
He's probably lying about his age.
We have a restriction on our page. It's adult only. It's 18 and above. So anybody who is able to get onto our page is marked above 18.
So a gentleman has reached out, and he
Which,
posted.
for a while, it was hilarious.
It was pretty funny because he posted on my page about, you're my, I'm your slave.
I'm your slave, yes.
You're my mistress, and I had no clue who this dude is.
She did start with going, does this have to do with you doing my laundry? Because I could be
Okay.
so down with that.
You could talk to me if that's the case. It kind of went from there. I then had a friend who made a comment. So then he started asking her questions.
I'm on mine.
I started asking, he started asking her questions. I'm like, hey, don't hit on my friends. Like, I get first dibs. That's my job. So he continued on, and finally I said, listen, if you want me to be your mistress and you want this to work, then what we're going to do is play the silent game. And that means you have to zip your lip and not talk to me anymore on social media. I thought it might work.
It did for a second.
It did, and then he started messaging me directly, and then finally in one of his messages he said he's 16.
That's not allowed.
No.
That's the illegalist of illegals.
No. So I don't know, he must just be on our show page, but he's totally blocked off of all of mine. I sent him a message that this is completely for adults only, please don't reach out to me, all of that, so,
He's friends with him.
dude.
Until she deleted it, though, the thread was hilarious. And for some reason, on this thread, we're suddenly talking about the background
It
shows.
evolved into The Office, and like I was talking about shun and unshun from The Office.
And then I got so jealous when that guy said, to be your slave is a pretty big ask. I guess I shouldn't even ask you to come to Alaska. And I was like, dude, I was so moved to Alaska.
We need to block this guy somehow. It does matter.
I'm looking to see.
It does matter if you're 16 because that kind of talk between an adult and a child under the age of 18 is illegal. You being on our page is against our terms of service as a member of our page. You must be 18 years old to watch the show or to be on our page at all. You need to remove yourself. This is the last warning. We are going to block you. Please get off the chat.
We gotta figure out how.
So we have to somehow log in under us under the show page, but I'm on mine, so he shouldn't even.
Well, you're watching the live video.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, keep talking.
So thank you, Terry. Yes, we are kind of gorgeous. Thank you.
Aww.
Shit.
Let's talk about, since we're talking
Bam.
about crazy dudes and children now, let's talk about your pushy dude.
My pushy dude. So
Well, I figure out this block thing.
we chatted a couple of times, and by a couple I mean 3, and then he was like, call me. And I was like, I don't give my phone number out to people. And he was like, well, I don't text. And I'm like, well, guess it's not going to go on. And he's like, well, you could block your number and then call me. And I was like, all right. You know, that is a legitimate thing. Okay, so I blocked my number and I called him. And we had a semi-decent conversation, but I really wasn't feeling it. And I kind of just like let it go. But then he was like, hey, and we talked through text a couple of times, and he was like, call me. And I was like, I couldn't at the time because I was doing something, and then I could later, and so I called him, and I messaged him to say I was available to give him a second phone call, and he was like, I'm at church with my son. Anyone who knows me knows that I am not Christian, and that I don't go to church. And generally me and Sundays are not church days anyhow. They're usually sexual recovery days.
But somebody was screaming for Jesus, so.
Oh God,
Just
oh God.
saying.
I mean, then that technically makes me Jewish because I go to church on Saturday night. Sorry, that was a little bit inappropriate.
Well, it was.
So we were talking, and he wanted to set up, like, we both wanted to meet because I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he was just pushy on the phone or whatever, nervous. But he kept talking over me and wouldn't let me get my schedule out. And then he asked me if I was married, if I wanted to get married again, and I was like, no, I do not want to ever get married. And also, I don't even think I want to be monogamous right now. Like, pretty sure I just want to, fuck it up, just slut it out. And he was like, well, you just haven't, you'll change your mind when you meet the right guy. Like, you just haven't met the right guy. You should keep your mind open to it. And I was like, no, really, I don't want to be married. So I've been ruminating on it for a couple of days. And then he sent me like 2 messages in the middle of the fucking night. Like, call me. Not even like, hey, how's it going? Just call me. And I was like, it's not happening. So finally today I sent him a message and I said, listen, I've been giving this a lot of thought. I just don't think we're going to be very compatible. I do not want to ever get married again, and I don't want to be monogamous right now. I also, when you said you wanted to meet with me and I tried to go over my schedule with you, you talked over me and I couldn't get a word in edgewise the whole time. And I can no longer have conversations like that. So I feel like you need a woman who's a little bit more submissive and willing to kowtow to your needs and demands, and I'm not that woman for you. All I ask is that you please not attempt any further contact with me. I didn't block him, I just, ended it. I got a notification that he messaged me, and I went to see what he messaged me, and he had been deleted off of my list,
Yeah, he
which meant he
messaged
blocked
and
me.
blocked you.
So what he probably did, because I always gotten the feeling that it would end up being this way, is that he probably went with, well, you're an ugly fat cow anyway, and then blocked me. And
So,
because
This
guys
is
like
out the
that,
way.
It is.
always, even when he first, like, he opened our first conversation with how beautiful I was and how amazing I look and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, listen, I'm trying to learn to take compliments better, thank you. And he was like, well, you should, you're beautiful. And I'm like, well, generally guys who start off with that level of you're beautiful, if it doesn't work out, they end with you're an ugly fat cow. And he was like, I would never do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
So I talked about it on here the one time, because this is totally where guys go. And I talked about the one time how this guy went into a whole tirade when I said this isn't going to work out, and he's like, you know, you're a fat whore, you're ugly. Your friend, he had gone on my page and saw that a lot of my photos were with Desiree Divine. And he's like, your friend paid me, your friend Desiree paid me to talk to you. Yeah. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so he totally did everything he could to put me down. Swear to God, less than a month ago, that same guy reached out to me again. Totally did.
Why is there such a discrepancy against what men do when they get rejected and what women do when they get rejected?
You know,
because women don't do that.
You know what we do? We call
How do
our
we know
girlfriends and
that?
we go drinking, and then we pick up some strange D out on the dance floor. That's what we do.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Well, it's very,
We
very.
go to the studios and get drunk and take a lift home. That's what we do.
It's very varied what women do. Some will pull into themselves and, you know, sit home in front of the TV in their sweats for a couple of weeks, and others will go out and get laid right away. And
Some will send 68,000 messages to a guy.
There are
65,000.
those.
Chill
There
it
are
out,
those.
65,000.
One of my favorite. I was watching. I'm in love with Childish Gambino, and I'm in love with the people who don't realize that Danny Glover is Childish Gambino.
Yes.
I love that. But one of my they've been showing these comedy clips of his, and one of them is every guy has the story of the crazy girlfriend or the crazy ex.
All the girls have a story of a crazy guy, too.
Hold on. Why don't women have stories of the crazy ex? Oh, I know, because you're gonna die if you have one. And it's so true. I mean, I have one, but I got out of it soon enough. But if I would have stayed, more than likely, I would have been.
I got a family member whose crazy ex ended up getting me arrested.
Yeah. Because he threatened to blow up the house.
Yeah.
And the children with bombs.
He literally threatened to put a bullet in the back of mine and my kid's head.
Yeah.
And just so you know, that family member got back together with that guy after that incident. I was like, good choices.
Crazy.
I feel like I wouldn't threaten you. Like, out of all the people, like, your decor is old style weaponry.
There are a lot of skulls and axes in my home.
I just feel like if I was going to threaten anyone, it probably wouldn't be someone who can just reach out, like, pass their coffee and grab a machete. I
We keep
don't
the machetes
understand.
upstairs. On the walls, it's all swords and axes.
But you can literally, like, can I get the remote or can I get this axe?
Yeah, and it's not like
It's right there.
You know that you're not buying like the blunt showpieces.
Right.
I have a few showpieces. The black and silver one that hangs in the corner next to the TV, that's a showpiece. That's all a wobble. That's a wobble seal.
It's a wobble seal.
It's steel that it looks like steel, but you can bend it. It's
Some
like
fucker breaking in the house isn't gonna know that.
Yeah, that just means it won't break over the head when you go to hit them
Right.
over the head. It'll
one
just
on
bend.
the one in the leather sheath on the floor, though, that's battle steel. I could kill a
Yeah.
motherfucker with that.
I mean,
It's heavy,
literally,
too.
I'm not even kidding. If you go to her house, she can reach for a weapon as quick as she can reach for her remote. Don't fuck with her.
Truly the safest house in the neighborhood.
Yeah, don't fuck with her. Like, we literally have this conversation about how I had to, we talk zombie apocalypse more often than we really should, that I should be a part of. But the very last time, like, I had to justify how I can contribute because I really don't have much to contribute, and you kind of lead the pack. So everybody knows if a zombie apocalypse happens, we all go to Sierra's. And then, what was your contribution?
I was going to be the first one offered as a sacrifice when you guys were almost caught.
That was it. So
She's our diplomatic liaison. She is our sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
And I am Negan.
I will handle any negotiations, any trades. I will, work every
I'm either
scenario out.
Negan or Crazy Rick. I don't think I could be like Prison Rick. No.
Prison Rick was pretty awesome.
Not at the end.
I
Nobody's burying his guns in the
all
pig
the
coop.
versions of Rick.
Hey, where'd my video go?
So, and then basically also I also contribute the fact that my child is muscle. So
True.
I do bring the
True,
muscle.
I am training, I will train her to be part of the protection squad.
I do have some weaponry I can bring along.
You did offer that as well. I do remember you did offer that. But if worse comes to worse, like, we get to throw you down and go.
Yep.
I'll come back and make
Listen.
sure to put one in your brain so you don't reanimate.
There we go.
Listen, that was totally my job until I realized I could handle all negotiations and trades. That was mine too. It was really a coin toss between which of us gets thrown down first. So
You know they're gonna throw your ass down too because sometimes you don't need to negotiate.
but I don't know.
I mean, listen, it is faster for me to shoot someone than for me to throw one of you two in front of the train. So, you know, y'all be safe. You might end up with somebody's blood on you, but you'll be safe.
The problem is if you throw me down, you quickly have to watch out for my muscle. So
True, your muscle would get in the way.
yeah. So she would take you down.
She would too, without hesitation.
All right, let's go to Toxi's blog. So we haven't talked about it. We've been wanting to talk about your blog for a couple of weeks now.
Yes.
So the first part is you have 2 new blog posts that are out there.
I do.
Yes.
So one is about, and I want to try and bring one up as we're talking so I can have the comment on one.
Do you want to do the good luck or the Mr. X?
So we can start with Mr. Ex-Toxi.
So the latest one is Mr. Ex-Toxi.
So my most recent is actually about my ex-husband,
Yes.
who, you know, I may just chat about a little in passing, but I don't really talk about him, you know, that much for show purposes. But I like to, when I do the blog, I like to look at different scenarios that I learned. Like, I'm never one who feels like, God, this was such a waste of time. Like, I've never for a moment thought like, oh, this was such a waste of over 15 years. I realized during that time there was so much I learned from it and so much I utilized to progress as a person. So I wanted to talk a little bit about him on the blog. I talked at the end how he actually got the name Mr. Toxi, now ex-Mr. Toxi, which he had a lot of different suggestions. He was like Pussy Eater 6'9" or whatever.
As all guys,
right?
for some reason, do.
He had this big long list of like, it was like Big Dick Schlong or whatever. It was all these crazy things, and I actually believe
Sorry,
that
Mr. Toxi, I've seen it. Not Big Dick Schlong.
Actually, it's not bad big, it's not bad Dick Schlong. But anyway.
I didn't say it was small, I just said it wasn't big.
So, I think you all of a sudden jumped in and you were like,
No, you're
Mr. Toxi. And then that's kind of how it came about. But anyway, go to the blog, check it out. One of the things that I wanted to share, I like to share a little bit about my awkwardness in dating. And my very first date with the ex-Mr. Toxi, I talk about it in there. So it involves the bathroom. That's all I have to say.
And then there's the big one, the one that you still can't believe that this happens to you, and
You're good.
everybody has
So
like,
that's the other one. That we
everybody
have
has
to go
offered you advice on this as well.
Did
So,
we not give this kid fucking punk ass block?
Is he
I
still
thought I
there?
did, but I can only ban him if he likes our page and he doesn't like our page. So I don't know how to get him off of the chat. Anyway.
So I have a thing, and what it is I tend to, when I go out with a guy, or even sometimes like I talk to a guy, we're going to go out, or we've gone out on a date, or we've even dated for a little while, immediately after, I find that they're getting married, they're in a long-term relationship, like they're in a different relationship, and so I've shared a few times where I go like, oh my God, Sierra, like so-and-so totally just popped up and got married. Like, I was just jerking him off 2 weeks ago.
I was just blowing him in the parking lot.
You know, like 2 weeks ago, and like now he's married. So every time this happens, Sierra jumps in and she's like, you are Good Luck Toxi. Like, just like Good Luck Chuck. So guys, I mean, if you want to make something happen, go out with me. And then immediately after, I promise you something will work out. It's like a guarantee. So,
She and I are going on a date next week.
yeah, we're totally gonna do that, and then bam. So one of the comments, and it's by one of our listeners, and I actually think she might be on, but the way I see it, you fix broken men, and they finally get their act together. They give off pheromones of I'm fixed, and desperate women claim them. she said you are desperate, so you can't pick up on the pheromone, but I think she meant you aren't desperate, because I'm not, so I'm assuming that's what she means. So I actually want to address that comment. I don't fix broken men. If anything, I'm probably the broken one. Out of any coupling, I really am probably the one who's a little bit broken. They don't tend to get their act together. Honestly, I choose to spend my time with, guys who are pretty decent, some really great, amazing men, and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, but, I tend to not necessarily go after assholes.
You do your vetting. You do the vetting that needs to...
I do more vetting than probably I should. I do an annoying amount of vetting, but I really don't think it's guys who are, I'm not fixing anyone, and I don't think they suddenly get their act together after me, because again, it's really not, their acts are usually pretty together, and I'm still backstage, building my set, so, and I don't think it's desperate women, only because, I love that you commented on my blog. I totally appreciate it. Love all of the comments. Anyone, everyone, please comment. But they actually get in some pretty great relationships and marriages, after.
So I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, and this is just conjecture. I am not a professional, whatever. But it could be that when you are seeing these guys, you kind of help them clarify what the fuck they're looking for.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah. They go on 3 dates and you're like, oh, that's what I don't want.
And I don't mean it that way, but maybe when you're talking to them, they kind of figure out,
right,
maybe this is what I want or what I need, or...
So I kind of agree with you, only because I do think people tend to have a comfort level in talking to me, so they, I do get a lot of individuals who, will kind of, what's the word, vet things out, or what is...
Just talk things out?
Talk things out. So, maybe they are getting some clarity.
You have therapist jeans.
I do. Literally, these jeans I bought from the thrift store and they belong to a therapist.
Totally set her up for that. God damn it.
So...
the jeans I have on right now are called Dr. Phil's.
I'm wearing my Dr. Phil's. And so I totally appreciate the feedback on my blog, but I don't necessarily agree that that's the case, because I think, I think that there are some, really great guys and whatever happened after they, found these really amazing scenarios. Some I suspect, I have one, the whole marriage one, I suspect that didn't just pop up out of nowhere. I kind of suspect that one maybe, was already, or was already in the works, or, maybe a breakup and an immediate get back together.
Yeah.
But, so you're welcome, dude.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And I think if you could totally charge for that, go.
My whole thing is that I just want the wedding cake. I want you to invite me to the wedding. I plan on not bringing a present, but I do plan on taking cake home.
Good segue.
Into cake.
Into gay cake. So there was a decision handed down that said that the guy's rights, that there's a guy in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, who refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple for their marriage.
Prerogative as a business owner.
And
it's a douchey prerogative, but
so there was a decision handed down. It was all the papers, but the headline of it is completely misleading because it makes it sound as if the guy who refused the cake had, according to the courts, had every right to refuse it, right? By a Supreme Court ruling, narrowly of 7-2, which is not narrowly, but actually it was just that he was treated incorrectly, and that at a later date they're going to have the trial, I guess it were, on whether or not a business owner can refuse to make.
And I think part of the argument, though, if I'm not mistaken, was their religious rights versus their the other couple not being discriminated against based on sexual orientation. So
Right.
it was kind of a battle of, do my religious rights prevail? You feel that, you know, that you were, my brain is fried. That
So-
you feel that you were discriminated against, and same vice versa, do your religious beliefs override mine?
Which
So
he's not, the owner is not fighting the fact that he is not making them a cake because it is against his religion for them to get married. If they wanted a birthday cake, he would have made it. If they wanted, celebrate your circumcision cake, he
Right.
would have made that. But just because his religion makes it so he doesn't believe that they should be getting married, he should have a right to. Sierra? I know you have a lot to say about this.
I do have a lot to say about this. So here is what the freedom of religion is. I can't do that because it's against my religion, and I will die to defend your right for that. You can't do that because it's my religion, is violating someone else's rights. That's not freedom of religion, that's you imposing your religion on people who don't believe the same way you do, and you don't get to do that. So as a private business owner, he has the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason. I'm not saying it's right. He's a fucking douchebag cocksucker, but he does have that right to do so.
Every
He
business
has the
has
right
had
to
that
say,
right.
he has the right to say, I can't do this for you because it would go against my religion to support someone in your
But it's also-
lifestyle.
But even before that, in the store that I managed, we reserve the right to refuse service.
Yes.
But you can't refuse service for a protected class.
Yes, you
So
can.
in that, you can say to somebody, based on your race, I'm not going to service you.
No, at least in the state of Nevada, you don't have to give a reason.
You don't have to give a reason.
You just say, I'm not providing service. to
Right,
you."
but their
And-
reason
and
was,
the-
I'm not providing service to you
and
because.
The burden is on them to prove that it's because of any.
Right.
Right. Now, he made the douchebag fucked up mistake by saying it was for his religious purposes. Sorry, dude, but you fucked
Well,
up.
I go so many different ways with this. It is.
So what it boils down to is if you don't like the way this company handled it, you have the right, you have the ability to absolutely affect that change.
Yeah.
Stop shopping there.
Yeah.
Stop supporting them. Don't like their page. Don't support them in any way whatsoever. A lot of people forget how mighty the dollar can be. Everybody's like, boo capitalism, but capitalism is the reason companies fail or don't fail. The reason Japanese car companies are doing better than American car companies is because unfortunately they create a better product.
Yep.
If American cars lasted as long as foreign cars did, you would see way more American cars on the road than foreign cars. Well, if you want to play the game, you got to step up. They're losing money. Why? Because the dollar is going somewhere else. Your dollar, every dollar you spend, every dollar you invest, if you really want to affect change, pay attention to where you spend your money. Pay attention to how you invest your money. Pay attention to how your 401k is invested for you. Did you know you have the right to refuse to be invested into certain stocks? You can call your 401k and say, do not put any of my money in any of these stocks or their associated conglomerates. You have the right to do that. You don't have to go with whatever the company chooses. Anyway, spend your money fucking wisely, people. I'm not saying this company did the right thing. They did the wrong thing. As a matter of fact, if anyone wanted to make a shit ton of money, they put a big ass banner, especially this month right now, because you go Pride. They put a big old banner, be like, gays welcome. And you know what? They would have an influx of fucking stuff. Being the douchebag who says, I'm not making gay wedding cakes, take your money elsewhere. Find the guy who will. Don't even buy birthday cakes from that guy. Don't buy a fucking cupcake. Don't even go buy because they've got the perfect cake topper. Fuck it, get the second best cake topper.
Yep.
Spend your money.
DIY. Make your own.
Hell yeah. Or call me, I make good cake toppers.
All right. And then,
I made my mom's wedding cake. She saw it.
yeah, it's not in pretty letters on my list, but today, Miss America announced that they will be doing away with the swimsuit part of their competition. And that during the evening gown segment, women can wear whatever they want. What do you think?
It's the first I've heard of it.
It was just announced today.
I have zero opinion on it.
Why do you have no opinion? Do you not watch the Miss America competition?
I really
or?
don't. I mean, the bathing suit one, you know, I do totally get, because that kind of sucks. Even in kids pageants, they would have a bathing suit portion, and it was just, you know, no. The evening gown, I mean, when I would watch way back in the day.
Isn't that also when they have them answer the question? Like the super important question?
Yes.
So they said that they're going to try to make the Miss America competition more about substance than what the women look like. And personally, I don't know how they can do that when they're still having a competition. Because what are you gonna pit, you know, it's not like they...
Is it chess player versus
even
chess
do,
player?
Yeah, I mean, do
You
they
gotta
even
bring out
do
your
the talent
ukulele?
thing? Do they still do the talent thing anymore? And then
Do they televise the talent portion? I don't think so.
I don't know. I hear people like I don't even watch the stuff. I don't even know
Not
Miss
the
America
real
was
talent
posted.
portion.
Miss America, Miss Universe, Miss USA, all of them. There's still a ton of them. And then we still have the little kids ones too. I mean, should they just kind of do away with all of that? But
No,
there's
there's so
scholarship
Yeah,
programs.
there's scholarship
They can
programs
do their
for
programs
the
elsewhere.
kids.
In
Yeah,
some
but
other
for
way.
the kids ones, there's a lot of, number one, as a parent, you put out a lot of money, but the kids get to earn money towards scholarships. So, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. My daughter had asked to
Maybe
to
they
try
should
one
just,
before, and
instead
I
of doing
refused.
beauty competitions, maybe they could do more science competitions.
There
You
are
know,
science
those-
competitions.
Yeah, but make those more commonplace. Like that one with the robots where the kids have to make the robots and then they
Robotics.
beat up the other robots.
Yeah.
That is the coolest competition.
But it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, they already have all of this. They have
Yeah.
these science competitions, they have spelling bees, geography bees. They definitely have a lot of the talent portion. Or the
Williams
educational
says they
side.
do televise the talent competition.
I don't think I've ever seen the talent competition televised with the exception of Miss Congeniality,
I
where
love
she
that
played
movie.
the glasses.
I believe I was finally able to block our favorite little fuck stick.
Good.
And if you're still listening, no, we're not going to talk about you anymore.
BattleBots, is that what that's called? I love BattleBots.
BattleBots
BattleBots.
is amazing.
And the kids make it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They make their own
Yeah,
robots.
It's so crazy.
I love it.
Hell yeah, it is.
I love
They
the
have my
science.
daughter. I know they have the competitions at my daughter's school now. But when she was little, like they would travel and just do these amazing. Like they built up every year when they were like in first and second grade. They started out in Lego, like robotics, and then they moved up to where they got to do the real, the
Do you
real
think
stuff.
those ones aren't as known as like Miss USA or
No, of course not.
it's because of the backing? Because
Because it's
Miss
not
America,
pretty girls prancing around in tiny bikinis.
right?
That's what it is. It's because the difference is, in this one it's beautiful women, and in the other one it's intelligent people. That's the difference. Nobody wants to watch a bunch of intelligent people build robots that beat each other up. Everybody wants to watch the pretty girl fall down on her face, or have a nip slip, or fart in public.
Am
or
I
something.
missing all of this?
No, but I do know.
Like I'm going back to watch.
There-
Fire
I
Engines
remember
now.
having to sit there and sit through them because my mom loved watching
Right,
the beauty
right.
contest.
That's what I was gonna say. Like years ago when I was younger
Yeah.
and stuff.
Look at
and
how
it was,
beautiful she is. What does it matter how beautiful she is?
We always rooted for Thailand.
I mean,
I once
seriously, we've got children who are 15, 16, and 17-year-old building robotic things that can change the world right now. And they're not getting the kind of recognition that a 15, 16, or 17-year-old girl in a bikini.
they're going to MIT
The
on full
robot ones,
scholarships.
the-
They'll be okay.
Yeah, but they're not getting. I mean, granted, now
They're not getting the same
Now-
validation for their
right
accomplishments.
now there are major companies backing a lot of them. But it's not like Procter and Gamble.
You're not gonna
You
gonna
know?
tune in on NBC on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and watch, not that my alma mater would ever have a fucking robotics team, but the high school I went to battling another high school in town. Like, you wouldn't see that.
You know
You're
what?
not going to see the national championship of BattleBots.
You know what? They just
On
need a
NBC.
better. They just need better executive producers.
Yeah, better
I think if they got
marketers.
like George Lucas in there to do it. Fucking Shonda Rhimes would make that shit rock, right?
Shonda Rhimes would kill them all off before the end of the hour.
No, she would not.
We'd get to the end and we'd be like, cliffhanger. Maybe it was one of the bots.
Or an airplane would like crash into the auditorium.
Michelle
like,
Wolf.
That's
Not as an executive producer, though.
Yeah.
She doesn't have, I don't think she has the experience to be an executive producer yet. Is, you know, someone who, to pump up the creativity behind the storytelling of the event.
Speaking of Michelle Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I really
It
have
wasn't
nothing
Michelle
on the
Wolf,
topic
though.
of. I know it has
Yeah.
nothing on the topic of her, but it really segues in
To
kind
her
of.
partner in crime, Samantha Bee.
I tried. You're normally the seguer. I tried.
You did the great segue with the whole cake thing.
So Samantha Bee. All right.
So let me tell you this one little tidbit of knowledge that I learned this week, because I follow, besides Gold Ducat on Twitter, the real Gold Ducat on Twitter that I love following, I also follow Dictionary.com. Dictionary.com, whoever is running their social media is a smart ass, whippersnapper, and he's fucking hilarious. She or he is fucking hilarious because they will take quotes out of today's news and explain some of the words that you see. Dictionary.com posted that there was a 1,148% rise in the search for the word feckless. Not the see you next Tuesday word.
We all know
which
what cunt means.
There was a rise in the search for that word, but not 1,148% rise.
Everybody's like, what the hell, feckless? I thought I got rid of those.
I got
And
some
lemon
yellow
juice.
ones.
So for those of you who don't know, feckless means useless. So essentially what she was saying is,
Useless cunt.
yes.
Why am I the only one who will say that?
I'll say cunt. So what we're talking about is when Samantha Bee on her show, broadcast on her show, said to Ivanka Trump, talk to your dad, you feckless cunt, and tell him to leave the immigration laws alone, or something to that effect.
And the reason she did that is there's been a lot in the news lately about children, immigrant children being separated from their parents, unaccounted for.
Which is a whole nother thing.
It's a whole different thing. However, Ivanka Trump had posted a photo of her and her son, and it was, you know, it just had a beautiful caption, and it was in regards to what she had written.
Right.
And so that's where the feckless C word came from.
Yeah, you won't say the word.
I don't say that.
And there's
She has.
I have if I'm really upset.
there's
you know
this-
you're fucked if I say
there's
it.
this huge, it is what cunt, the see you next Tuesday word, is one of the words, I guess in American culture, is one of the
Huge taboo.
hugest no-nos. People can drop fuck like
Oh, yeah,
there's
yeah.
no tomorrow, but say the C word and people are in an uproar. And there are plenty of them. And even in our chat, one of the very first things, because we were talking about it before this YouTube video that you guys are watching.
You would be less offended if I called you a cock gobbling fuck pickle than if I just called you a cunt.
Yeah,
Sure.
which is crazy.
Although my brethren in the British Isles use it like I use the word fuck.
Right. And they don't, I don't think they use the word fuck at all.
Dawn says I use feck instead of fuck.
Mm.
What the fuck?
Oh, I don't have that. Which is short for feckless.
Is it?
No.
You are making up fucking curse words here. You are making this shit up.
We write it up there.
Oh.
Anyway, I have no issues with the word cunt. I have, true story, I was driving around with my neighbor, my 81-year-old neighbor, taking him to his appointments and to the grocery stores and to the 99-cent stores and all the things that a senior citizen needs in America because they're poor. And we were hanging out all day, and he looks at me and he goes, what is this about that comedian who called the Trump's daughter something? I said, you mean Samantha Bee, who called her a feckless cunt. He goes, oh, that's a shame. that she really is.
So,
Hilarious.
But she really is.
I like Ivanka. I don't like harbor.
I feel
okay.
like, but if
Or
you think about it,
Ivanka,
has she done anything? She has been utterly useless so far. Her father keeps crapping all over our country.
Right, but you have to understand, everybody is basically useless at this point. Is there
This is
anybody
true.
who has
This is true.
control over his mouth, his actions, anything?
Well,
What makes you assume his daughter's going to?
Why doesn't she speak out against him?
One of the things that Samantha Bee did say in the continuation of her tirade was, he listens to you. One of the few people on the planet that he does listen to.
But how do we
is
know?
you.
You're assuming that she's not saying it to him.
Well,
that
he
she's
did
not
tell the whole
saying
world
it.
that if she wasn't his daughter, he'd fuck her.
So how do you, we have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. She could very well, listen, every time I talk to my father, I'm like, Dad, go to the doctor.
True.
My dad's a farmer. Dad, go to the doctor.
True.
Dad, did you go to the doctor? And every single time he's like, I don't want to.
Geez, this sounds like a familiar conversation.
So I can't actually make my father do anything. Nothing. I can request it. I can tell him 200 times why you need to go to the doctor. You have insurance.
Do you have a problem
Yeah, you
with?
a fucking ride.
Do you have a problem with Samantha Bee calling her a feckless cunt?
I would,
Which-
we would have thought twice about it. The only reason this is an issue now, the only reason is because people got their panties in a wad about Roseanne being let go. Now, she needed to be.
So
She
that
needed
is
to
the
be.
biggest argument. Why isn't Samantha Bee losing her job? In fact,
Because
President
exactly.
Trump said this.
Yes.
In a tweet.
Yes.
Because calling a feckless cunt out for being a feckless cunt does not really harm anyone.
Right.
Being a massive public racist harms a lot of people.
Right. So.
Because I know your argument is that she's using misogynistic terms.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Alexia's argument is that she's using misogynistic terms and she should maybe be punished in some way, except that, I'm sorry, but she's... if I was a dude and I called you a bitch because you didn't want to go on a date with me, I'm being a misogynist. If I'm a... Sorry, someone's
Come
here.
in.
If I was a chick and I called you a bitch because you were a total cunt to me, not a misogynist term.
You're right.
So it's all about the context of how you're saying misogynistic terms. Because honestly, if a feckless cunt's a feckless cunt, anyone can call her a feckless cunt. Feckless
So,
cunt.
and here's the deal. Again, if and Dawn just said 2 different companies, maybe absolutely. So I'm certain that they all have certain clauses in their contracts as to what they can and what they can't say. If it's against her company for her to be able to say those words or call somebody, a derogatory term or what have you, then she should follow the same suit. I am certain that there is some type of clause within Roseanne's contract regarding her public image and things that she can and can't say. I mean, they were instant.
It is 2 totally different companies. One is ABC/Disney. The other is
Right.
TBS.
TBS.
Right.
Slash Disney.
I don't think it's /Disney.
I don't think TBS is.
Well, we'll find out. Keep talking
Yeah,
amongst
TBS,
yourselves.
maybe Comedy Central, I don't know. But
So-
2 totally different companies and the rule is the rule, but I genuinely don't feel that the 2, if you want to look at this one situation here and say, here's what she said and I feel that there should be actions against her words, then fight that fight. But I hate the whole bullshit of, well, if she can say this, if Roseanne can say this, then why isn't she fired? And
One of the very
that's
first...
such a weak
Right.
comparison to me. That's complete bullshit to me. 2 totally different things. If you find offense in what she said, and then you're gonna sit and go, First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment, and then she says feckless C, and you're gonna all of a sudden, forget the forget the First Amendment thing. Oh my God, she said this and got fired, she should too. No, that's a weak argument. It's a weak argument. Fight this one for this reason, fight this one for this reason. Bam. It's the same thing whenever somebody does something, they're like, well, by Hillary, fuck, then fight
Right.
that argument there. Like, we're talking right now about this scenario here. This is it. Let's talk about this. So,
And then
TBS is, hey, Tim.
It's owned by Time Warner, not Disney, but there was
Yes.
once upon a time where Time Warner and Disney were thinking of becoming one company.
yeah, but that's not now.
No,
I don't
that's
think
not.
it's the case.
And then you wanted to bring up the reboot.
So, I just read something today where they might reboot Roseanne. And that had been thrown around for a while, but it actually might.
I know there are a
be
lot of
announced this
people have
week.
asked for it.
A lot have asked for it, and then Roseanne Barr actually made a cryptic tweet today where she said something like, I'm trying to do the right thing or something. I'm trying to make it up to people, something along those lines that alludes to, because the big thing is they have to disconnect her ties to any back-end earnings.
So just so
from
you
it.
know, by reboot we mean the Roseanne show will be coming back without Roseanne. And without Roseanne having to do with it.
Right. So I would love
I
a
might
show
watch
that
it then.
focused. I would love a show that focused on Darlene, which is Sarah Gilbert.
Or Jackie, I heard
Jackie
something
was
about
amazing.
Jackie.
I love her.
I think
even
one of the
John
late
Goodman.
9 guys said, let's call it Dan.
Right, let's call it Dan. Kill off Roseanne.
I saw a great one where it was Felicia Rashad from The Cosby Show.
Oh, should
and
get together with
Dan.
Dan. And then someone fucked it up because then they went even further and said, oh geez, what show was it?
They blend like the Brady, like
The Malcolm in the Middle, like
Yeah.
somebody else would get in.
And then Jeffrey Tambor from
Oh,
Arrested
no.
Development. And they're like, so Lucille should, they should have a poly with Lucille.
Once
and
you open that hole, people just go down it and down
yeah,
it
it's
and down.
done. We could add so many people like.
So, can somebody fix this for me in my head? Because the way I remember Roseanne ending, back when it ended in the 90s, early 2000s,
Dan died.
Dan died. How is Dan back
They
again?
didn't address it. They made a joke like in the first episode about. There's a couple of jokes they made. They made one joke about how. What did they say happened? Did you see it?
He was sleeping and he had a CPAC on his,
Oh,
and
okay.
Roseanne
okay.
woke him up and she said, I thought you were dead.
I
Right,
thought
so
you
they
were
made a
dead.
joke, and
And
then
he said, a lot of people have said
right,
that.
a lot have said that, and then they said one about Darlene where he goes, well, I've always, I'm so happy that I have a gay daughter, and she's like, I'm not gay. He's like, you're not. We thought you were because she is in real life. So they kind of touched on little things, but
Did he hold up a sign for how long we got?
yes,
One
like
minute.
2 hours.
Oh,
I don't
30
know,
seconds.
I can't really
Jesus
see
Christ.
well.
SinCityBounty.com, click on Patreon, send us money, we'll send you pictures.
Guys,
If
we
you sign up for that
definitely-
level, only if
Right.
you sign up for that level.
sign
We
up for the correct
definitely
level.
would love to get some more supporters in our group, mainly because then we could do what we talked about in the beginning of the show, or it might have even been pre-show.
Apparently selling my nudies.
Well, not just that. We'd like to do a photo shoot in that super awesome hotel
Oh, yeah,
room
we
with.
Okay, we can't go
Bubbles.
over because our last program has music over the end of us talking. This is Elexia,
Toxi.
And Sierra,
and we will see you next week.
if you're brave enough.
Later, bitches!
Buy money, spend money, bring us stuff. Patreon.
You're-
So
Join
last week,
Patreon.
just so you know, last week when we went over our recording, our video and our podcast has music talking over us.
And that was my fuck up because
Well, not
I
necessarily.
I wasn't paying attention
Yeah, but-
and I didn't add.
But we went over.
Yes, you did, bitches.
It all.